Welcome, everybody. This is the No Politics Podcast. I am your host, Working Genius, here as always with my co-host, Faking No Moves.
What up, what up, what up?
And we got a little Raw to talk about today. We got a little Smackdown Live to talk about today, as usual. We probably going to kick it off with some Raw. I know. For me, anyway, it's good to get Raw out of the way first, because to me, that's just the thing we got to get through before we get to the A show, you know. The part of the show that makes our money, SmackDown comes second. So if you want to kick it off with Raw right off the bat, we can get into that. I know you fuck with Raw. That's your shit.
Yeah, I fuck with Raw, but I'm gonna come clean. This week was kind of hard for me to catch Raw. I had to rewatch it. But this week of Raw, I really just want to talk about the important things, not all the little, in between things. But I also want to say I feel like there wasn't much that Raw gave us this week for some reason. It just felt like that to me. So, however you want to start it off.
I feel like that every week. But
yeah.
So go ahead.
And we both know that it's always a strong start, strong finish, and definitely we got that this week.
Exactly.
I mean, especially with Kevin Owens. So
exactly.
If you want to speak on his whole promo and the whole atmosphere he brought to the beginning of Raw, that shit was dope.
Yes, sir. We kicked off Raw with a Kevin Owens promo. He didn't come out. He was just sitting in the ring, lights off, dim, with the spotlight on him, sitting on the chair in the middle of the ring, mic in hand. Man,
suited up.
Which is interesting. Before we even get into it, I got to get into this suit thing because we talk about the suits and the authority.
Oh.
And ever since Triple H spoke to him, now...
Yeah, you know what? Before we get even further into that, I want to shout out Andreas Hale from the Corner Podcast. He brought something up that I was listening to that was very interesting. He said, Evolution was big time and it was Triple H. We have to bring something new like that. But what if it was Triple H's boys and they called it Revolution? And I was like, yo, that sounds crazy. He said Samoa Joe, Kevin Owens, Finn Balor, and Triple H.
That would be fire, bro.
He said that would be crazy. And then we could have Finn Balor as a bad guy and the club, as well down with them.
Oh,
imagine that crew, the Revolution instead of Evolution. So shout out to him because that's crazy.
That's a very original, unique fucking idea if I've ever heard
and
one.
Then everyone's wearing these suits now. It's like one by one, Triple H is picking his guys and gonna maybe do something going into the next year of this wrestling, era. So
you know what it just made me think of too is that Finn Balor spoke at the UK tournament and he had his suit on. Of course he had his suit on. He wasn't going to be in his ring gear. But now I'm just picturing Finn Balor in his suit. I'm picturing Joe in his suit. I'm picturing Owens in his suit. I'm like, yo, bro, that would be a hell of a fucking stable.
That would.
So,
and man. Triple H would just be the brains. He don't even got to get his hands dirty.
Those guys are... He the old timer, the legend.
Right? That'll be cool. But yeah, this was a great segment. Owens went off about, basically if somebody would have told him 15 years ago, when he was 15, that he would be in a main event on a pay-per-view against Goldberg defending his WWE championship and stuff. He was like, I would have never believed that. I said, you're crazy. Not because I didn't think I would be in the main event on a pay-per-view as the champ for WWE, but Goldberg, he's washed. He's old. I would have said you're crazy. So that was dope.
Yeah, bro. I just not even the things he said, but just the aura and the vibe is what we need from Owens. It was so different from the playful Jericho. And I love that, and I think it's safe to say we all loved, the Jericho shit. For the last few months. And I dug it, but it was so different from what we were used to before he was with Jericho. Jericho kind of brought that out of him. He could be a little more playful, but before that it was the Owens I used to talk about. You know what I'm saying? The one that was just had no conscience.
I could just imagine that now, like that thinking back to last week, that conversation with Triple H was probably like, this guy Jericho, I know this guy for years. He's softening you up. You're gonna let him get to you before you get to him. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? Bring that monster back, that fighter, that prize fighter that I loved. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
And
bro.
then not to jump too far ahead into Raw, but they had that backstage segment. If we're gonna talk about important things throughout Raw, the backstage segment with Mick Foley, where he was like, "You have a match with Sami Zayn," and he starts laughing. He goes, "Do you find did anything I say funny?" He was like, "No, but I thought you liked Sami Zayn."
Yeah, bro. It's
Because you
just
know what? If you were smarter, you would understand that you're gonna have more wrestlers on the injury reserve than in the locker room type
yes,
shit.
sir. See, it's just that, like that, just that vibe, that attitude, that aura, that like, yo, I'm here to hurt people. I'm here to fuck shit up.
Yep.
That's like the Owens we haven't seen in a while, and just like the promo, just the seriousness of it. It was perfect. It was what Owens' character is. Like the Jericho thing was cool, but it was so inconsistent with the Owens we saw prior.
Yeah.
And I spoke on that before, and how it was kind of unbelievable how he could go like the coward heel just doesn't work for him, because it was unbelievable compared to the way he was fucking shit up prior.
But it was really Jericho giving him new tools and new ways to escape from these
Predicaments.
yeah, bad predicaments. And I like the fact that it was like his moment to move on in some way, and then just speak on Goldberg and prepare and basically get us ready for his match with Goldberg. And then at the end, he goes, "As for Jericho," and then
He
he's
just
like, "You think he's gonna talk about Jericho?" But then he just like drops the
drops the
mic and
mic.
leaves the mic. And the one thing I liked about Raw too was that Jericho wasn't there tonight.
Yeah,
Well, on Monday night.
he's all fucked
So
up.
so he's messed up. Did you see he was at a live event? He
No,
came out at a live event with a neck brace and like all
awesome,
fucked up and shit at a live event.
awesome.
Yeah, man, that
Really
shit's like,
selling that shit,
yeah, I'm loving it. I'm loving
bro.
it.
I
I'm loving
even
it.
like we haven't even touched on this much. I even like what it does for Goldberg and his feud with Goldberg. You just minorly touched on it when you said he was talking about Goldberg, but it shows kind of like him facing Goldberg at Fastlane, him having to face Goldberg at Fastlane. It's really like made him more serious. He
Yeah,
knows, it's almost like, I know what I'm dealing with, and I know like it's time to get serious.
but he did call some shots, like
Oh yeah,
some
yeah,
low
yeah.
blows. He
No,
was
yeah,
like,
yeah,
"Yo, we
for
all
sure.
know your
Cutting into him.
matches ain't after a minute. It's
You
all about the
gassed.
long run. You
Yep, you
gas,
gassed.
like yeah, like come on."
Yeah, but
So I like that.
it's cool that it's almost like when, because he said it in that Festival of Friendship promo with Jericho, when Jericho brought out Gilbert, he was like, I thought we did this to beat up Goldberg. Like you could see, like he was real.
Yeah,
Like it's almost like he's showing that he's kind of not shook by Goldberg, but like he knows like this is important. Like I could lose this match. You
yeah.
know what I'm
Like
saying?
basically, probably the
So
whole plan was Jericho was like, if we do this friendship shit, Goldberg's definitely gonna want to crash it and spoil it. So when he comes out, we just jump him, and then he played him by like, "Come on, Goldberg," and bringing Gilbert out. You know what I mean?
yeah,
And the whole consensus now, after especially that promo with Kevin Owens on the start of Monday Night Raw, is that we don't want Lesnar or Goldberg with the title. It deserves to stay on Owens, and Owens needs to be defending it against fucking Chris Jericho. That deserves to be the title match at Mania,
agree.
hands down.
Absolutely
And
agree.
we all feel that way. So whether they do it or not, I don't know. But I feel that they definitely should do it, and I hope they swerve us in a good way by somehow Kevin Owens retaining this belt.
Yeah,
Please.
I mean, I think at this point now it's either that Jericho can interfere. There's still the chance Lesnar interferes, which is what we thought a few weeks ago. I think
Yeah.
they've left. I think the good thing about this is that there's some options
Jericho
there.
has to interfere. Sorry to cut you off, but Jericho has to interfere because you know what? The plan all along was best friend versus best friend for the title.
Yeah.
So no matter if Owens turned on you or not, you still make it best friend versus best friend. Like you said, the biggest fucking main event that there could be at WrestleMania.
But
You know what
Jericho
I mean?
still holds the U.S. title. So they could
So
always
what?
cop out and be like, yeah, it's still for the title. Best friend for my title. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah.
They could do it either way. I think they deserve, that main event for the Universal title match. To me, anyway.
Well, they definitely deserved our 10 minutes we just spent talking about them.
Definitely. That's
So let's move
definitely.
on. What was next?
I don't know. I hope we could skip a few things.
Next was the number one contender match. It wasn't that crazy. Cesaro and Sheamus versus Enzo and Cass.
Yeah.
All in all, Enzo and Cass ended up getting the win. And Enzo went to talk some crap on the mic after the match. He was like,
I
"We're the
actually
number one
enjoyed this.
contenders, and they're chicken tenders." He was like, "The Swiss Superman, we got the kryptonite. We got the kryptonite." And then Sheamus kicked his head off.
Bro kicked this shit out of him.
Yeah, and then
People in the crowd was like, "Thank you, Sheamus." Like,
and Corey was like, "I think that Mike's gonna become a permanent part of his face. That's how hard that kick was, or some shit."
yo,
So
I
that
actually
was
enjoyed
cool.
that. So
Yeah, and I want to see the number one's content. I mean the title match. I feel the club will retain because
yeah,
as much as the crowd loves Enzo and Cass, they're not gonna turn on them, so they could lose. And oh well, they're still them. They're still in the same position
exactly.
with the fans. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I just think it's cool to see someone that is next up, as number one contenders for these Raw tag titles. So I'm fine with that. We've seen the Cesaro Sheamus versus Club before, and we saw New Day back in the day against the Club. But now it's like, okay, let's get Enzo and Cass in this title picture. So I'm fine with that.
Them getting Enzo and Cass in the title picture, I'm not mad at it.
Exactly. So we can move on from there. That's pretty much it.
Yeah. Next up was the cruiserweight match between Brian Kendrick and Akira Tozawa. And Akira Tozawa is a guy that I've been very, very interested in. The way that they've been booking him since he debuted 2 weeks ago. And we talked about his debut and Mustafa Ali. And how Mustafa Ali, we were impressed with him in the Cruiserweight Classic. And he had a strong first week in a triple threat match. Basically, they made him the star, and then next week he lost. But Tozawa, 2 weeks straight, he looked strong. And we specifically were talking about how Brian Kendrick was basically like saying he was his mentor and he was going to teach him the ropes and all that. And we talked about that, and I was like, I mentioned how Tozawa's mad Japanese and kind of might not understand, like, and he's like, yeah, hey, what's up, man? Cool. And like, really doesn't know that. Brian Kendrick's like, that's right. I taught you everything. And he's like, yeah. So, all in all, they showed him, I guess, backstage, if I'm correct, right? And
Yeah,
basically,
it's like in
Tozawa
the
was like,
locker room.
"Oh, I don't need you as a mentor or something like that, right?"
Yeah, it's
So,
actually pretty funny.
yeah,
I don't remember exactly how it went, but I remember enjoying it.
yeah. I don't remember. I actually didn't really get to see it. I caught it very quick. Like I knew it happened, but I don't remember like exactly what happened. And then the commentators brought it up. But the match didn't even get to happen. I know like Brian Kendrick was going to shake his hand, and I guess he then attacked him before the
Yeah,
bell rang and
yeah,
got him in his finisher move and like just laid him
yeah,
out cold. And it was pretty dope. I'm not mad at it, and it was quick. Didn't waste our time. Got straight to the point, and I fucked with it.
yeah. Same. Agree. I like that. This is actually a semi-interesting cruiserweight storyline to me, anyway. Having Kendrick, I love Kendrick just like stepping in and claiming to be these people's mentors at random. It's like that's funny to me, and now it's like Tozawa who they've been making look strong. Now this is good. Like we see another cool kind of. I mean, what other feud is there besides the cruiserweight title one? I mean, the Alicia Fox one with Noam Dar and Cedric Alexander was weak. Um,
Yeah,
so this one, I kind of like this one, Tozawa and Kendrick.
yeah, and Yeah, definitely, definitely. And then moving on. Now, did we get the backstage segment with Roman Reigns? Oh, that was actually before the Brian Kendrick match.
where he's in the office
Yeah, and he was
against the
talking.
club, with the club in the office as well.
Basically, he was saying that he wanted Braun Strowman, and Mick Foley was like, "Well, Strowman got Big Show in the biggest main event that we could possibly do, and we had to reinforce the ring and all that."
I was kind
And
of
then
tight
basically,
at that point when they were like, "Oh, this is the biggest main event." I was like, "Damn, you're gonna put Strowman and Big Show as the main event, and you're gonna try to hype it." And we're not even gonna get into that match right now. And
yeah,
I know
and
you was about to say
originally all I
something.
got to watch was the last hour and kind of like that main event and Kevin Owens match, and I was like, damn. Even when I saw it, without even getting to see this promo, like I said, I went back and watched it, so I know what happened. But I was like, damn, wait, this is the main event.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, let's see
That's
what
how I
we're gonna
felt.
do here. Now, maybe if I would have been watching the whole match, the whole show originally on Monday, and then they would have announced it the way they did, I probably would have been like tight too. Like that's not the biggest main event you could do, because
Exactly.
I didn't know they promoted it in that kind of way. So me just tuning in for the last hour and catching, I was just like, okay, that's weird to see them going last. But then I was impressed. So
Yeah,
we're gonna hold off for
we gonna
that.
hold off on that one.
But yeah, so then the handicap match was next, and you already come on. We don't got to talk much about this. We're both disappointed in this whole booking.
Yeah,
Uh, Reigns is just
we give props to the spear. The spear was kind of vicious.
yeah. That spear on Carl Anderson when he jumped off the top turnbuckle was the best part of the whole match. But
Yeah,
that was dope, man. But I just don't like the fact that Reigns is just unstoppable. I guess they
yeah.
gotta make him as strong as possible if he's going up against Strowman
Eh,
in a week and a
As
half
if
or
they
whatever.
haven't made him look strong enough. Like you
Yeah,
don't need to keep impressing us by having him beat up on the tag champions. Like,
we all know what strong what Reigns could do.
yeah,
Yep. And then basically Gallows and Anderson kind of looked weak, even though they technically get a win. But it
yeah. I
is what it
didn't.
is.
The commentary team tried to like put that over, like, oh well, they got to win by DQ. Like, no,
And
they look
then we
like
kind of spoke
shit.
about this before the podcast, and you mentioned that, and I was like, well, next week they're definitely getting a win. You know that because they're not going to let them lose to Enzo and Cass because you know WWE, like I said, loves to have Enzo and Cass lose regardless. They're going to stand where they stand with the crowd and the fans. So,
Yeah,
yep, let's move on. Uh, we had another tag match with New Day versus Jinder Mahal and Handsome Rusev.
don't say ooh like this is interesting.
Yeah. I will say ooh, not because I was interested, but you know what? For the fact that watching it, New Day is bodying shit. Like I said, it's only a matter of time. Like they just keep raising the bar, and it's just a matter of time before they get those belts. And like I said, you know, they're the greatest WWE tag team. That's a natural built WWE tag team right there. And they just stay killing it. So they'll always be on top. They hold that record. And I loved how they said that they're doing a lot of different things. And Xavier Woods, in particular, 1 million followers on his gaming YouTube channel, Up Up Down Down, which is fucking dope. I love that he does like mad shit with other wrestlers in that video blog. Uh, he said he was gonna host at South by Southwest for some game shit, which that's fire. If you're in our age bracket and you know where we're from, the urban community, you know, we know a lot about South by Southwest. South by Southwest is big, so for him to be doing that, that's cool, man. That's real cool. They mentioned they're also working on, you know, the ice cream, bringing the ice cream, which is true. You
Mhm.
know, they still got Bootios, and they're gonna host WrestleMania, which I got the notification they were gonna do that before I saw the promo, and I was like, okay, why would they do that? Damn, it's kind of like they don't got nothing for a New Day. But
Exactly. That's
then
how I
that whole
felt.
promo made me feel good about it. Like, why wouldn't New Day would make the most perfect WrestleMania? They'll probably bring mad ideas and dope shit like on the 24 hour the 24 of the WrestleMania last year, how Xavier was like, we had mad crazy ideas to come out of a van with a unicorn booty and all this crazy shit. So imagine now that they get to host it, what they're gonna bring to the show.
But here's why people, well, for me anyway, I was kind of skeptical when I first got the notification too. I was like, oh man, they don't got shit for these guys. They hosting it. It's because hosting WrestleMania has been like an afterthought. Like The Rock was the host last year, right? And all he came out for was the fucking, what?
Yeah.
The
The Bray
attendance
Wyatt
record.
shit.
Yeah, the attendance record and then the Bray Wyatt shit. And like,
He had a
it's
cool
almost like,
flamethrower.
yeah, okay.
Wait, didn't
But-
Hulk Hogan hosted the one in New Orleans when Daniel
yeah,
Bryan
when
won?
he said the Silver Dome.
Silver Dome.
So like it almost just seems like they're there for a minute and then that's it. They have like one.
When he said that
part.
word that shouldn't be said, I mean Silver Dome. No, I mean
Yeah.
that would have been funny if we would have played it like that. And then he said, you know.
And so it's just kind of like for New Day, it's almost like that's a downgrade. Like, damn, they don't even got shit for them. They're gonna be like an afterthought. They're gonna come out for one little thing and be gone. But I kind of feel like New Day is the type to be like real active about it. You know, they're gonna try to put their stamp on it. And you didn't even mention my favorite part about their promo.
Shout out Lana.
Shout out Lana. Okay. I had two
we're talking about favorite parts.
I had two favorite parts of it. The first was when they said that Lana hacked their systems and got the plans, and Big E was like, "No, she Russian, right?" The crowd loved that shit. The crowd loved
Come
that
on.
shit.
We need that all fucking night at WrestleMania, because you know why? WrestleMania is going to be fucking 9 hours long, and if we don't have no fucking
That's what I mean.
joy and happiness that New Day brings...
Yes, that's what I'm saying. I hope that, I know that the kind of guys they are, they're going to want to be involved in shit and not just have one little segment. They're going to want to do some dope shit. So hopefully they're all kind of throughout the night. Almost like an award show host. Where like they get the, you know, they have their what is it called? Where they open up the show and they have
monologues,
their
open
monologue. There you go.
monologues.
Exactly. And then they're like sprinkled in after that, you know, for transitions and shit like that. I would hope that for them. Now, my favorite part about their Raw promo when they were coming into the ring was that they said that they were trying to be the three hyenas in the next Lion King.
Lion King, that was another part of it.
And that's fucking awesome to me.
They should be.
That was so awesome to me. They should, bro.
Oh
that
my
would
God.
be so dope.
Donald
bro.
Glover, Childish Gambino, shout out to him. He's playing Simba.
Bro. Like, that would be fire, man.
Yo.
Like,
that
was
one
my
dude,
favorite
he's
part.
playing Mustafa too.
James Earl Jones?
Yes. Yes.
Was,
Isn't he Darth Vader?
He's playing Mufasa. You call him Mustafa.
Mufasa, yeah. Whatever. Mustafa Ali.
Yeah, Darth Vader. But yeah, that to me, when they said they wanted to be the three hyenas, that really made me go like, yo, these dudes, like, I totally respect how they're really trying to get shit done. You know what I mean? Like, I totally respect them for that shit. And New Day's for real dope. And this segment was entertaining because, I mean, it was kind of dumb with the ice cream plans, but like whatever. And then Lana kind of throwing it up behind her, and then him breaking the shit. Like it was mad dramatic, but whatever.
He was like, "There goes your electronic something devices," and he was just breaking it. Xavier Woods is the fucking man. He's such a dope person.
Yeah.
That no matter what he does, it's gonna be awesome. So, I just love his energy.
Exactly. Agreed. We can move on now.
New Day gets the win. Right?
Yeah, what we got next?
Neville and Jack Gallagher contract signing. Not much to talk about there. Let's move on. All right.
Let me think.
Neville just like shitted on him like, you're
he was like, you're like the stereotypical, you're what they expect from us, you know? Whatever. Yeah.
And Gallagher was like, I don't take this mustache off at night, fella.
Or something like that, yeah. Whatever. They have a match coming up. There you go.
Then Gallagher got the better of him at the end. That's the one thing I will take out of that. And we all know that means Neville's going to destroy him next week going into the pay-per-view.
Yeah.
Then moving on, we get Nia Jax, who I felt like has been overshadowed after destroying Sasha Banks, and she should not be overshadowed because Sasha Banks is kind of getting pushed. Like, she helped Bailey win the belt,
Mm.
and she comes out, squashes somebody, and looks dominant as hell. And she says, "I'm gonna put the champ on notice." So nice, short, to the point, look dominant. She's like, "This is who you give me," kind of like with the Braun Strowman,
Yeah,
situation.
yeah.
And
It
now I
was kind
guess
of
she's
exactly
gonna
like that.
she's gonna go into a championship, feud with the other girls involved in this love triangle. I mean, war. This triangle of war.
This war triangle.
Right? True, true. But I think she's gonna be the champ walking out of WrestleMania. But I'm
Get the
not gonna
fuck
jump
out
too
of here.
far ahead.
Oh man, I would kill myself. No, I'm not.
I don't know.
Wow,
I
that
just
was
saw
dark.
I saw
That's
her.
how badly I don't want that to happen.
I pictured her walking out the ring with a belt around her waist when she did that squash match for some
Yeah,
reason.
to keep her pants up. That's it. She ain't getting no gold on that waist. But let's keep it moving. Let's keep it moving.
Yeah, because next was your favorite part of the show. What was that?
I don't know. What?
It
Why you be
involves.
throwing me? You be throwing me the Vegas lobs, like
It's your favorite part of
you
the
be
show. Come
throwing me.
on, bro. You're supposed to be a WWE fan. This is your favorite part of the show.
I ain't a WWE Monday
Bailey
Night Raw
comes
fan.
out.
This was
Nah,
not
nah.
my favorite part of the show. What? You
Bailey
lying to
comes out
people?
and she gets the "You Deserve It" chant. Come on, you wasn't getting goosebumps.
Wait, was this my favorite part? No. How
What
you
was your
gave
favorite
how
part of
you
the
gave
show?
me a favorite part? I would say my favorite part of the show was the end
Okay, okay,
or the start.
all right, no doubt, no doubt.
Not this stuff, but this
But
was okay.
this is how we do it on the No Politics podcast. So we're gonna talk about your other favorite part of the show when Bailey
Okay.
came out. And you was like,
My
"I'm a
fourth favorite
hugger."
thing.
You were like, "I'm a hugger too, Bailey."
What?
No,
I don't
I'm
know what's
joking.
going on here, but Bailey comes out. She gets hit with the inflatable tube man. I don't know if you peeped that.
No, I didn't.
It kind of
No
like
way.
hit her when it came up. And she like kind of pointed at it as a joke, like, "Ha, you got me."
Wow.
I don't know, but she comes out, hits the ring. Fans love her. She was kind of weird on the mic. She's kind of awkward on the mic. She's always been kind of awkward on the mic.
Yeah.
She started off very awkward on the mic. It picked up. It didn't pick up until.
So you mean to tell me she was talking about her father very awkwardly?
Yeah, it was awkward.
Like, thank you for making me look cool in front of my dad, WWE.
Yeah.
My dad called me. What did her dad tell her? She said.
I don't know.
I don't know
something
either.
awkward. It was kind of awkward.
Come
Like she doesn't
on.
emphasize the right parts of things.
Yo, I'm
Sometimes.
not gonna lie. I always thought you liked Bailey.
I do like Bailey.
You be talking to her like she's trash, bro.
What?
You be talking about her like she's trash.
No, it's just she's not like she's not the greatest person on the mic.
Yeah, you're
She's
right.
got work to do on the mic, which isn't
And
bad. Like a lot of people do.
And then Stephanie came out. You know I was rocking to Stephanie's song. Stephanie got one of the Ella songs.
Oh my god,
The
what
Brat
is going
came
on right now?
down, bow down. Love to love it.
Alright. So Stephanie
we're
comes
gonna
out.
cut that one out. We're gonna cut that
I'm gonna
out.
leave it. We're gonna throw that in the break or some shit. But Stephanie comes out and she's like, blah blah blah, hand over the title. Basically.
Yeah.
You didn't win this fairly. It's not it wouldn't
all the
be
girls came
right
out,
for you
right?
to keep it. And then Sasha comes out because Bailey was gonna give her title to Stephanie because she was like, it wouldn't be right for me to, preach what I preach and then like win it under these kind of circumstances.
Mm-hmm.
And then Sasha's music hit like right when she was gonna hand it over. Sasha was like, "Don't give her that title," blah 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 blah. And then Bailey ultimately keeps it. Then Charlotte comes out. She has a little heated exchange with Sasha. They're gonna have a match next. Blah blah blah.
Yeah, and then Sasha and Charlotte had a match that I don't remember.
Yeah, me neither. I believe Sasha made Charlotte tap though. you
Dana
know.
Brooke came down and Bailey hit her from behind.
Yeah,
I
and
think Bailey was on
she was on
commentary.
commentary exactly, and she sees Dana
Mhm.
Brooke coming down, and so she kind of chases after her to make sure she doesn't get involved. And then Charlotte gets hit with the bank statement and taps because Charlotte can't win on Raw
Yeah, and we all know this, so we're not even
because
mad.
it just wouldn't make sense for her to win on
Because
Raw.
Bailey's just gonna lose
Because
next week at Fastlane, and that really makes sense,
oh man,
right? Yeah,
yeah,
definitely.
I don't even get what the fuck is going
Because
on.
the only right time for Charlotte to lose on a pay per view would be at WrestleMania when Nia Jax wins and doesn't pin Charlotte. So technically, Charlotte didn't lose, and that's where WWE got you.
They don't got shit on me. What? I seen this coming from a mile away. But all right, we can move on from this shit.
Sami Zayn versus Kevin Owens finally. So this was
Okay.
definitely a dope moment. Kevin Owens comes out first. Sami Zayn starts to come out, and Samoa Joe attacks him. And this is just setting up Joe versus Zayn for Fastlane, right? So Joe beats the shit out of Zayn, and then basically Joe then rolls Sammy in the ring, and Owens beats the shit out of him and
Bro,
gets the pop up powerbomb.
which we
Gets the
haven't
victory.
seen in so fucking long because. But it was, I mean, we seen when he did it to Jericho, but like in terms of in matches, I feel like I haven't seen Kevin Owens hit that powerbomb in forever. And when he hit Zayn with it was like with the force of a man who was like, I haven't done this in forever. Because Zayn hit that match so damn hard, that shit was powerful. So,
And
just had to mention that.
He stood tall over Sami Zayn with his belt raised high.
Owens finally looking like the Owens I wish we had. But we can
Now,
move on now.
You're going to have to brief me on this one because I was going to do something.
Take a shit.
But I remember Foley was just spazzing on Stephanie about something about like
when doesn't Foley just start
him
screaming and
all I heard was like I'm not stupid.
Foley
Stop
like
treating me
always
like I'm
finds a
stupid.
way. Like Foley, if Foley has one promo in the night, he's gonna scream in it. Like he's got to turn it up to that level to make every promo like epic or in some kind of way. He tries to like
that Cactus
kill a
Jack
promo.
level.
Yeah. So what was he saying? I don't know. She was probably threatening his job again. I forget. But
because he said that he was happy to see
I know what
Stephanie
she
get
finishes
embarrassed.
it with. She says, I would hate for you to have an accident.
Oh yeah,
Which is huge. Which is actually huge. So I'm glad we didn't forget that. Huge foreshadowing. Someone's gonna take Foley out. Triple H is gonna step up and be the new GM type shit.
Nah, dog.
What you mean? Who else? They've been
I
kind
mean,
of
Triple H will take him out.
hinting at Foley's like job security for mad long. Where,
Well,
like,
Triple H should take him out and probably have fucking Stephanie just run it. She's a control freak. She wants the power.
Why wouldn't she just do it on her own? Anyway, she's the commissioner. She could technically.
Well, she probably would do it and claim it, and somebody would take him out, and nobody would know.
I guess whatever. Huh?
I don't know.
But that was that.
Let's see.
Foley's about to get taken out real soon.
All right, and now you gotta fucking tell me what was the deal with the creepy Brock Lesnar staring in the camera right after this with Paul Heyman.
Let's see. Paul Heyman was talking, and Brock Lesnar was trying to get real intimidating, breaking the fourth wall and staring at the viewers at home. I don't know. Whatever. They're building towards Fastlane.
That was a horrible mean face.
Not even towards Fastlane. Towards Mania.
But let's just give that the award for one of the worst mean faces I ever seen. He's a scary big dude. I would think he would have a scarier mean face.
What? Let me see your Brock Lesnar mean face. That's it. The viewers can't see it, or the listeners can't see it. But Faking No Moves looks real stupid right now. So, just throw that one out there.
Nah, my mean face looks better than fucking Brock Lesnar's.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, I wouldn't even say that to his face. Yeah. But, I would love to say it to his face to see his real mean face. And
Okay.
I would say that's exactly what I want from you, champ. Gas him up.
and gas him and slide out real quick. You know, fall back real quick. Brock Lesnar, if you ever around, come see us. The No
No
Politics
Politics
Podcast.
Podcast. That's right.
Put Faking No Moves
Let's
in
move
check. I
on.
repeat, that was at Faking No Moves is who that
No,
was.
no. That was
But
my friend like from New York. Like, don't even mind him. He wildin'.
at Faking No Moves, follow him on Instagram. Moving on.
Nah.
We
But yeah,
had.
moving on. We had the main event, the biggest main event possible that we could have. Big Show versus Braun Strowman.
Why did you just say that like you work for Raw?
I'm being sarcastic, guys.
You
I'm being
swore.
sarcastic.
Oh my god. Alright, so let's talk about this. Wow, I just want to say, I'm going to get into it right quick. I just want to say this match pleasantly surprised me. Surprised the shit out of me. Because the way they were hyping it, like, oh, the biggest main event, I had to reinforce the ring, and blah, 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 and all this bullshit, and I'm like, damn. They're going to give us a slow-ass, boring-ass Big Show Strowman match. And we know Big Show been in the gym, too. We know that.
Mm-hmm. And it was good to see what Big Show could do. Now that like he's in shape too and going up against Strowman, and we got to see a lot of Strowman's agility for a big man working with another big man.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I just want to talk about the bright spots. The Strowman kip up, where he kips up like Shawn Michaels.
Yes, sir.
With Big Show, and then the one Strowman when he jumped off the like second rope, and then Big Show caught him with the KO punch.
Yeah, bro.
That was nice. They had some good storytelling for two big dudes.
I like this match a fucking ton. I mean, it as far as consequences going forward, not really anything to come from this, and storytelling. Why, like for the bigger picture, just again we see Strowman. Not even look dominant, but win a kind of grinded out a tough match, a dude who could match up with him size-wise, like.
And him and Mark Henry wasn't bad either last week. We spoke about it, especially that one spot where Mark Henry had him for the World's Strongest Slam, and Strowman was so long that Mark Henry fell back. And now to see Strowman with a big dude, he even lift Big Show up on his shoulder, like a sack of potatoes. Not no like fucking F5 or AA type shit. No, this dude, his finisher is lifting you up on his shoulder, one shoulder, like a sack of potatoes. And that was a big sack.
Pause. What is going on tonight? Oh my god. We need to move on.
That was a 7-foot sack.
What is that? Hey, yo. Alright, so it was a dope match. I second most of what you said. I thought it was dope. Did Reigns come out? Yeah, right when the match ended. Yeah, that was the thing. Foley told Reigns not to get involved with the match. But I didn't like that when the match ended, like we didn't even hear Strowman's music. The first thing we heard was Reigns' music.
Let's not forget to mention that Strowman had to hit Big Show twice with his move. So he lifted him up with the power on his shoulders twice.
Yeah. And the first one, the commentary team mentioned it, like he didn't even get all of it, it looked like he was kind of struggling with his weight. I don't know if that was like for the storytelling.
It was a little sloppy, the first one, but the second one was good.
Exactly, but the second one was clean. Yep. And then Reigns comes out and
starts going at it with Strowman, but all in all, as much as we said, Reigns always looking strong. Strowman got the best of him, put him down.
Put that man down.
But like I said with Neville and Gallagher, that just means next week Reigns is gonna bust that ass.
Yeah.
So be prepared.
Yeah, I'm prepared to move on.
So as much as we were gonna end on a high note, I just brought it back down.
Yo, we spent what? We did a decent job flying.
Yeah, through that, especially with my mid shenanigans. If we cut out certain shit.
Oh, we not on the podcast anymore. We just talking.
Oh, I didn't know. I thought you weren't either.
No, we still on.
We on, always.
All right.
Hey, shout out to my guy, Action Bronson. I definitely want to do that. He posted up in an airport with gold dust, and he said, like, Big Show was sitting right there, and, like, he saw a lot of the wrestlers in the airport and stuff. So that shit's dope. He's a wrestling fan. He
Yeah.
always repped since he came into the rap game. You know, wrestlers. He even had the his first album, Mr. Wonderful, like Paul
Mm-hmm.
Orndorff, and Paul Orndorff was one of those guys he always mentioned in his earlier raps. So yeah, shout out to Action Bronson, man.
Yo, wrestling to music is like what the NBA to hip hop is.
Word.
Rappers always want to fuck with the NBA dudes. The NBA dudes always want to rap. Now it's turning into wrestling and hip hop too. So
Yeah.
you already know wrestling coming up.
Definitely.
Wrestling
No,
coming up.
but you know, even wrestling has always been mainstream. Like even with guys like Jay Leno, Andy Kaufman, Dennis Rodman in WCW. You know what I'm saying? What's the other guy's name? David Arquette. He fucking
I
won the
mean,
WCW belt.
Tyson, Mr. T, like yeah, of course,
Tyson,
man.
Mr. T, yeah, Muhammad Ali, all of them.
Yeah.
So that's dope. But yeah, so let's move
But
on.
wrestling used to be something before we move on. Wrestling used to be something
Okay.
where like people were almost like embarrassed, like after a certain age, where it's like, oh, that's nerdy to watch wrestling. But now,
Yeah.
like,
Well,
people
after the
show
Attitude
like,
Era died, of course.
yeah.
You
But
know, only the real ones know about Eddie Guerrero back in those early 2000s and Kurt Angle. You know what I mean? Like that. If you were fucking with Eddie Guerrero, Kurt Angle, Edge, dudes like that, Undertaker, Brock Lesnar, the SmackDown brand back then, you were fucking with real wrestling. You know what I mean?
uh,
But after the 1999, maybe even early 2000, when the Attitude Era died for Raw, it was like you said, kind of like, oh, if you keep watching that, you're kind of a nerdy or whatever. But bro, if you continue to watch SmackDown and see dudes like Eddie Guerrero and like I mentioned, Kurt Angle and those guys, you know that was some of the best
legit
wrestling,
wrestling, yeah.
yeah, that WWE ever had. And
Yep.
it still holds up to this day. Speaking of Kurt Angle, shout him out. He's going into the Hall of Fame. He's going to be, I guess, the headline.
Yeah, he is.
So
Is what it looks like. That's how they built,
yeah,
framing it.
yeah. Let's matter of fact, now that I mentioned that, let's shout some of those Hall of Fame inductees out. Diamond Dallas Page, Teddy
Ooh, I
Long, Mr.
love
SmackDown,
DDP.
Holla 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 Player. The Rock and Roll Express, and Kurt Angle. Man, who else? There's gonna be a few more. I mean, this is already a
I mean,
stacked
I
lineup.
would think there's gonna be a lot. Like, how many weeks we
Yeah,
got till fucking Mania? 5. And
yeah.
if they do one every week, which I think is how they do it, then what
They
we got
have to do a
still 5
female.
left. I would
You think
assume
they?
China, right?
Nah,
Why?
that's not happening. I mean,
Why?
she should be in it, but not anytime soon. She'll be in it.
Why?
I'm hearing Steve Austin got heat. Now I'm talking like a mark, but Steve Austin
Now we
basically got
gossiping.
yeah. Steve Austin got heat, and his show's not coming back because he mentioned China in the Triple H interview, and he mentioned he told Dean Ambrose like what he
Wanted
wanted
to
to see
see
from
from him as
him
champion.
and some other
saw
stuff.
I saw the heat on that. That was an interesting one to me. You've seen that podcast episode, right?
Matter of fact, that's the one I really didn't even get to watch.
Wow. See, I've seen that shit twice. So you
Yeah.
really slacking. I watched it once for me and once
Last
for
one I
you.
saw, I think, was Shane McMahon.
Oh, I didn't even watch that
That
shit.
was right.
I've
Well,
seen the
Shane was
AJ
with
Styles
Foley.
one. I've seen the Ambrose one. And I've seen...
I saw the AJ, the Big Show, the Edge and Christian,
I've seen that one.
Triple H, Paige.
I've seen the Page one too, weirdly.
I've seen all of them except the Ambrose.
Okay, well the Ambrose one, a lot of people were claiming like it was awkward at first too, because Ambrose is just like mad, like laid back.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like Ambrose just kind of like chilling, whatever. And at the end, like you were mentioning with the Heat, was that Austin was kind of like, I want to see you like push the envelope more. And like
Yeah.
anyone that knows like Ambrose's history, he he was really pushing the envelope back in the day.
Of course.
But
This
the Heat
motherfucker
was,
had a weed whacker put to his head.
yeah, like, but now it's like Austin put him in like such an awkward position as champion, especially to be like the face of the company at
Yeah.
this point, to tell him to push the envelope, because it's like weird. It's like, what is he supposed to say? Like, and he did kind of say a little bit. Ambrose, he was like, well, I do what I can. I try to, because when you're being limited as far as how crazy you can get,
Yeah.
because this is still a PG show. Like, what
I don't
is
know.
he supposed to say? It's kind of
I
weird.
don't think that should have been affected him at all, Steve Austin. I also saw the one with him and Vince McMahon, but he was kind of giving Vince McMahon the tough questions too. The thing with Steve Austin is he's just real as he can be. Like, he has a
Yeah.
real ass conversation. So if you can't handle that, then oh well, it's not gonna affect Steve Austin.
Here's
He's
the
like, I'm
thing.
gonna do my fucking show regardless, motherfuckers, and still talk to these motherfuckers and tell them what I want to tell them regardless, whether
Exactly.
I'm on network or not.
Which I could fuck with that, but
Let me
the
get a
thing
hell yeah.
with Dean Ambrose, it was just weird because he's sitting in front of like probably like WWE execs and shit like that and producers, and it's like, what is he supposed to say? Like, they don't let me pop shit the way I want. Like, like, what is he supposed to
Yeah.
really
You're right. You're
say
right.
there? It puts him in such an awkward position. Either he says like, I'm trying to push the envelope, they won't let me, or like, and puts it on them, or he's like, nah, I don't want to push the envelope. Like, he looks like a pussy. Like,
From
it
that
puts him in such a weird
standpoint,
position.
yeah, you're right.
It was just like kind of fucked up to put him in that box, almost like it's his choice. Like he can't really do too much. It's not him and Austin ain't from the same era.
And
They
guess
can't get
what?
away
Very
with the
shortly
same
after
shit.
that, he was drafted to SmackDown as the champ to be the number one guy, and it slowly turned to the AJ Styles show. So that is a great segment to talk about the new Wyatt era of SmackDown and the way that SmackDown started this week and how great SmackDown was and SmackDown has continued to be. As much as I like to say the word great. But SmackDown was really fucking awesome. It has been awesome.
We're going to hit him with a quick cliffhanger. We're going to go to break.
Yeah, we definitely... Yeah, we got to go to break for sure.
So we just hit y'all with that quick cliffhanger, let you know, SmackDown, the era of Wyatt. It's been dope so far.
And we got to pay these bills.
Exactly.
So we'll be right back.
Alright, so don't even end it.
Yeah.
But, we spent what? We did a decent job flying.
Yeah,
through that,
especially with my mid shenanigans. If we cut out certain shit.
Oh, we not on the podcast anymore. We just talking.
Oh, I didn't know. I thought you weren't either.
No, we still on.
We on always.
All right. So
damn, I wish I could do a Dusty Rhodes impression. I was like, we on always, baby.
Well, you just
American
did it.
Dream, baby.
Well, you just did it. Bro, my arms are sore, bro. I just started working out again, and I did like 40 pull-ups yesterday, so I'm beat.
Damn. Where the fuck you was working out?
I got the perfect gym shit that you.
Oh, that shit.
Yeah, I only did 40 pull-ups, but I've been milking it.
Stephanie got one of the Ella songs.
Oh my god.
The
What is going on right now?
Bow down. Love to love it.
Alright.
Alright, so you ready?
I was born ready. Wait, I'm bringing us in?
Yeah.
Let's do it. I'm nervous. Alright. 3, 2, 1. And we're back. Quick little break, but we're back to talk about SmackDown, the A show, as always. To kick it off, we're going to get right into it. The first person to come out, we had Daniel Bryan come to the ring. And talked about how he had to give up his title back in the day.
Yeah, how it's so hard to do this, what he's about to do, but he needs Naomi to come out to the ring, and Naomi comes, and he goes, Naomi, I know how hard you worked for this, but, you suffered a knee injury, and I think you have something to say to the fans. The fans deserve to hear what you have to say. And basically she starts saying how, it was a dream come true to win the belt, and how she had tears of joy, and now it's like it's coming down so quick, and that she knows Daniel Bryan could relate, and she wanted to defend her belt, at her hometown, Orlando in WrestleMania, and but she's hurt, and Daniel Bryan was like, due to your injury, you're not going to be able to defend it within the mandatory 30 days, so you have to relinquish the belt, and she gave up the belt.
The interesting part about this that I took from it is that, yeah, she won't be able to do it in 30 days, but then I was like, when I first heard it, I was like, oh, but Mania's in like 40 days. So maybe she'll be ready for Mania. But what did you hear about her injury?
I didn't read too much into it, but I saw someone saying that she's not going to be able to be at Mania due to injury.
That sucks. That's tough. But she had tears in her eyes, very real tears. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
There was no acting that. I'm sure that shit hurts and that sucks and that's unfortunate for her. But she gives up the belt, and then right away, Alexa Bliss's music hits. She comes down to the ring and just says, "Well, like, I have an idea. just give me my title back.
Give me the belt, all right? Thank you. Great idea, all right? Give me the belt."
And Brian's like, "Yeah, you're not gonna do it that way."
I what I'm about to do, is going to pain me, but, you're right. Maybe I should just not give you the belt.
Yeah. Because there's going to be a match. Joke. Little corny nerd joke.
Yeah, right?
It reminded me of the Borat jokes where he's trying to learn to tell jokes and he says something and he's like, nah. Like, it's just not even, like, it's just terrible. But, okay, so then whose music hits?
Becky Lynch. I thought somebody was gonna debut. I'm not gonna lie, the way he was like, and your opponent's gonna be, and I'm like, wait a minute, is this gonna be like a surprise opponent? But then it was Becky Lynch, and I was like, Alexa's gonna win.
Yeah, I mean, it could have been. Let me think. Who else could it have been?
I don't know.
I don't know, really. Not really.
It could have been anybody. I mean, who knows? What if Oscar would have came out?
Nah.
You know what I'm saying? Or what if fucking Lita? Nah.
Okay.
Victoria, Kelly was backstage.
I read that.
Yeah, so who knows, son?
Well, we know now that it was Becky Lynch. And
they had their little match. The match was mad quick. I think she hit her with like a roll up pin or some shit.
She hit her in the throat. Yeah. Where the ref couldn't see it.
Yeah.
And rolled her up, grabbed onto some tights or some pants, whatever. Got the sneaky heel, dirty pin.
And she gets the belt.
We got a two-time Smackdown Women's Champion. I'm happy for her in that. I'm happy for her doing that, I guess. I didn't want her to lose the title to Naomi anyway, and then I didn't mind because Naomi really, she had been around for a while and hadn't gotten that opportunity, so it was kind of dope that she got it. But, she's hurt, so to me it's right to just put it right back on Bliss. You don't want to shake shit up too much, you know what I'm saying? So
yeah, I'm liking how Bliss is growing with her character. She's getting used to her persona. Yeah. So it's cool. And then Mickie James comes out to congratulate her, and then Mickie James runs down to the ring to attack Becky Lynch, and it's kind of sloppy, but Becky got her out the ring real quick, and Mickie retreated.
Why wouldn't you just have Mickie beat her up?
Yeah, I don't know.
She just had a match. Just have Mickie fuck her up a little bit.
But then we get another women's segment. Renee Young's actually backstage with Natalya, and she interviews her about, her match with Nikki. And basically, she just calls Nikki a fraud and says she's going to beat her tonight. And then we get a tag match between Breezango and American Alpha, and I was happy to see Breezango. We always could use some of them on our television.
Why do you say it? You say it like that's like a universal opinion.
No, I'm joking. It like everybody feels that I'm being kind of sarcastic, but the one thing when I was being sarcastic that I remembered was JBL going off, or one of them, or was it David Otunga going off about their outfits, and then JBL was like, "Oh, you act like Jennifer never made a bad outfit decision on a red carpet, or you never going on the red carpet made a bad outfit decision going on the red carpet with Jennifer. Yeah, they always taking
Yeah,
jabs at
they're
him over
taking shots at
Jennifer.
him. I like it.
Yeah, and it was a quick match. American Alpha looked dominant, and let's talk about the best part of the match: the Usos coming
Yes.
out with the crazy promo, talking
Yes.
about it's not paranoia, it's the Usos.
Nah, but I fucked with the promo, bro. They was on it. Like they wasn't slipping. They was in sync. They was, you know, one says something, the other follows it up. The next, like they was right on with it, and I fucked with it a lot. I think they needed a promo like
Yeah.
this. They definitely
Yep.
needed this, and it definitely made me go, all right. I'm
Let's
fucking
go.
with this now.
Let's
Yep,
do it.
let's go.
Yep.
This is about to be some shit.
Yep. I
So
can't wait. I would love to, even if they got the main attraction SmackDown tag match, for Mania, like just the Usos versus fucking Alpha. Like
yeah,
we
it don't
don't
gotta be
need
nothing
all these
crazy.
other dudes. Throw them in something else. Throw those dudes in the fucking battle royal, even though they're tag teams. And let's just get the Usos versus American Alpha.
Yeah, throw them in the 30-man battle royal. Give us
Yeah,
Usos and
straight up.
Alpha. I'll fuck with Usos and Alpha because this has been building for a while, and these are the two best tag teams on the SmackDown brand, in my opinion,
Yeah.
anyway. And so this is give this shit to them. This would be fire.
And then we got a lot of dope single promos by each member in the battle royal throughout the night that I was really digging how everyone had their own little background. Dolph Ziggler had his DZ and then it broke and it was just like the regular backstage, like mad random different shit. But it gave me an old school vibe that we were saying Raw was giving us early when they did the brand split that we haven't got it in a while. Even like them throwing the bitch word out there, we haven't heard that in a while either.
Yeah,
But
because Natty
like,
hasn't been saying it as much.
yeah,
Natty was the one that with the word bitch. He was just they were like, yeah, you could do a little more in your promos, guys. And Natty was like the only one that was like, bitch this, bitch that. She was just
but
going
yeah, it was
crazy with
dope. It
it.
was
She
dope
like
to
used
see.
up all the bitches that the locker room was allowed to say. It was like, all right, we
Word.
got to cut it down.
But yeah,
But
it was dope. It was dope to see, them do that, do something different, and like we said, like SmackDown is becoming slowly but surely the best wrestling on TV at the moment.
agree.
Like through all organizations, not just Monday Night Raw and SmackDown, but TNA, Lucha Underground, all that stuff.
I
Fucking
I ain't gonna speak on it because I'm not too well versed in the other one, so I don't I don't want to shit on them without knowing.
I
But like
mean, I know,
I know that they have some competition because SmackDown's been killing.
yeah, but I know like pretty much a good idea of what's going on in the other stuff, and I'll say one thing: Lucha Underground's dope.
Mhm.
They're like a Spanish
Yeah, yeah,
soap opera
I've
for
seen it.
wrestling.
I've seen bits
And
and pieces of it.
but besides that, like they're not fucking with SmackDown. Like that's different about them, but they're not fucking with SmackDown at the moment. Raw is barely fucking with SmackDown, so nothing else is fucking with SmackDown.
How did you feel about Kalisto's promo?
Trash.
When I seen him, I was just like, "Oh man, he's gonna fuck up." Like I
Dolph
always think
Ziggler
back
had
to
a
his
good
post draft.
promo.
I always think
Mojo
back to
Rawley had a pretty nice promo. He was talking
uh,
about how he won 2 other battle royals. So I
mm,
wasn't mad at Mojo Rawley. Baron Corbin had a great one. I loved Dean Ambrose's promo when he had the picture of Baron Corbin on the wall.
yeah,
Come
I remember
on.
that.
Come on. Nothing on wrestling television is fucking with that alone right there. That was so
Damn.
fucking dope and funny. I love that Dean Ambrose did that. And I love that SmackDown did the promos. Even Luke Harper tapping
Man.
the light bulb.
But that's his shit now, and I love that shit. That he be in that like dark room with the like
The light bulb.
Christmas lights and shit.
Yo, fire.
Yeah,
Yeah, man. And then Bray Wyatt cut one too.
yeah, just for shits and giggles.
Right? I knew
Because
you had to
Bray
end it
got to
with Bray
get in on that
Wyatt.
action.
Yep. And when Bray finished his, honestly, when Luke got to his, first I was looking at all the competitors and I was like, All right, AJ has a shot, of course, always to win. And who knows, maybe they might swerve us and throw him in the main event because they might not have nothing to do. Dude,
Exactly.
you know? And then I was like, Baron Corbin might be a guy they might want to give an opportunity, but it seems like they're building towards
Corbin
him and
era.
Ambrose.
Yep.
And then I seen Harper, and I'm like, okay, Harper, I don't know. Seen his promo, Harper's winning. Harper has to win this. Then Bray Wyatt ends it basically to say like, no matter who wins, you have to face me, and it doesn't matter. Basically, like,
Mm.
you know what I mean? And I was like, man, this is going down. Like, as much as I'm like, damn, why would they always do this to Randy? If Randy's gonna be in the main event for WrestleMania, why they always throw a third guy in there? They did it when it was him, Angle, and Rey Mysterio.
Yep,
They
I
did it when
remember
it
that.
was him, Batista, and
Daniel Bryan.
fucking Daniel Bryan. Now they're gonna do it him, Bray Wyatt, Luke Harper. But at the same time, him and Luke Harper had a great match on Elimination Chamber. So who knows? There's a lot of storytelling going on there. So who knows? We still got more to talk about for next week.
Yeah. So what do we have next?
So next, after all those promos, Nikki Bella was backstage with Renee Young. She cut her promo about how she was gonna basically kick Natty's ass and shut her up. And she walks away, and her music hits. She comes out to the ring. Natty comes out, and they have their Force Count Anywhere match, which was a dope match as well. Very impressed with both of these women. Freaking breaking all kinds of rules and barriers that were set for women in wrestling. And I'm proud of them. And I really, really fucked with the match. And I loved the one spot where Nikki was on standing on the thing and jumped back and kicked Natty in the face when they were like in the
Mm.
crowd. She was standing on
Yes,
like a
yes, yes. That
ledge.
was dope. Yeah, I know what you're talking about. Yep, that was
I don't know,
dope.
not to cut too far ahead into the match, but just to speak on that moment, I don't know if you caught it, but I heard Natty when Natty like because they were both laid up, and then Natty went to grab Nikki, and I heard her say "Good job." Did you hear that?
No, I noticed that I could tell that they were saying something, but my TV wasn't like I wasn't even like locked in.
So Natty said "Good job" to Nikki, and Nikki said "Not till it's over," right? And then they just kept fighting. And I was like, yo, that's even doper. Like they kind of broke character, but they probably don't even realize that I'm probably the only person that picked that up, probably. But it was dope as fuck because they were still going for blood with each other, going at it.
Yeah, no, I thought like you posted on our Instagram account. Great fucking feud. This is a great way to end it, and it ended so perfectly to me. They did
Yeah.
everything right. They had the Maurice thing at Chamber,
Mm-hmm.
and then they had it again in this Falls Count Anywhere, Falls Count Everywhere, Falls Count Anywhere, and and then to me, Natty had to win this match because it's not gonna look bad for Nikki if you know, especially the way they ended it with Maurice attacking her, losing her shit and attacking her. You know,
Yeah.
it doesn't make Nikki look bad at all.
Yeah.
And Natty going over her dirty, like cool with it because they need
The
to
only thing I'm
build
gonna
up
say
another
is
heel
the
woman.
only the only thing I'm gonna say is how the fuck. Nah, I'm a curse, but I'm not that. It's not that serious. I'm just gonna be a little dramatic. How the fuck Maurice keeps ending up in the wrong place at the wrong time during their matches?
Cause she be
It just
chilling,
happened to
bro.
be.
She
Just
be
happened to
chilling,
be.
bro. Yo, leave Maurice alone. Why you questioning? nah.
But it doesn't hurt. It doesn't hurt. We
Yeah,
know
no.
it's setting something up, and it puts an end to this feud that has been great with Natty. I love Natty suplex to fucking Nikki on the ramp, the entrance ramp. That's the picture I posted on our Instagram. We had a few comments on that post,
Yeah.
which I think the two comments that we got, they both were really digging this feud as well and gave props to the both women.
Yeah. Comment from DJ Ash Knuckles, as always, chiming in. Shout out to him.
Yup, shout
Always
out to him.
involved.
Shout out to him.
He said one of the best women's matches Nikki Bella has ever been a part of.
It's true. It's
Yeah,
true.
for sure.
This was better than anything she did as a champ.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, her championship reign wasn't even. Her championship reign was just so that they could get AJ Lee out of the record book. Like, she didn't even do
Basically,
much.
but
But
it was great
this
for
was
both of
awesome.
them. And then Nikki had Natty in the STF, basically John Cena's move,
Hmm.
and then for Maurice to come break it down, and then to add on to that feud, the main event had a little tie-in with what happened between these two women as well.
It did. Yep.
So I mean, I don't know how much more props you want to give these women, but
Nah,
if you're
that's enough.
done,
That's
we could
enough for the
move
women.
on.
nah,
Nah, they were
nah,
great.
nah. I'm just fucking around. Nah, yeah, they absolutely killed it. But with that, we can move on.
Yeah. And we get the main event, man. The 10-man battle royal, right? It was 10 men,
Yeah, time.
if I'm not mistaken. Yep. We had Mojo Rawley, The Miz, Luke Harper, Dean Ambrose, Dolph Ziggler, Apollo Crews, Kalisto, AJ Styles, John Cena, and Baron Corbin. And
And
all
immediately before you even go, we could write off a bunch of these guys. So Kalisto, Cruz, Ziggler, we could write them off.
yeah,
To me, Rawley, you could write him
Mojo.
off.
Yep.
Corbin and Ambrose, I wrote off.
Okay.
And then it was Cena and Cena,
Miz.
Styles, Miz, and
That's it.
Harper.
Harper.
And I wrote off Cena and Miz because of the Mania rumor that's coming up.
Yeah.
And then seeing what they're doing with Maurice and Nikki, it just added more to that rumor.
Yep.
So I wrote Cena and Miz off in my head as well. And then to me, it came down to Harper and Styles. And then I could see, like you said, if they can't find something to do, it would make sense that Styles finds a way into that, main event for Mania, the SmackDown main event, because he does deserve this. He's carried fucking wrestling this past year. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And
I
especially
mean, he
SmackDown.
should have not lost his belt until Elimination Chamber.
Exactly.
He should have defended at Royal Rumble, hands down. He had the greatest year.
Successfully
He
defended.
deserved to win at Royal Rumble. It was literally a year from when he debuted at Royal Rumble.
Yep.
For that to come full circle, he should have won. But hindsight's 2020, and basically, like you said,
Nigga, the foresight on that was pretty clear too. Like you could say hindsight 2020, so we see it differently. No, like even in foresight, like before that match, to me it was like Styles needs to win. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, and it's even worse. The hindsight is even clearer because Cena ends up losing it at Chamber. So like, oh God.
Yeah, you're right.
But
That's why they call you the genius. And as geniuses do, you wrote off all the right guys, and it came down to Luke Harper and AJ Styles.
Yep.
And John Cena and The Miz had a nice little part where basically Miz was going at everybody, taking Daniel Bryan's moves, and John Cena ends up eliminating Miz, and then Miz gets so mad he comes back and eliminates John Cena.
Yep, that's when I knew the rumor's true. I knew it was on. But
and guess what? The rumor's trash.
Do you really feel that way?
Nah, it's semi trash. Like they got a chance to make it great, especially anything Miz does. Let's talk about Miz's backstage segment. I forgot to mention that. That was a great one too, where he was sitting in the chair and he was talking about how he's the most watched TV and the longest reigning this and the that and the main event at WrestleMania 2007. And then he was like, and then Maurice whispered in his ear, he was like, oh yeah, and this year's main event for WrestleMania. It was great. And for him to come at Cena and eliminate him after Cena eliminated Miz, basically it's on Miz now to make this feud great the way his original feud with Cena was supposed to be.
Yep.
So let's see what they got.
Hey, bro, I believe in him. I think he's gonna do it. I think he's gonna.
I hope he does.
Kill the build up to this.
Hopefully next week.
I'm excited. I'm actually excited for the build up to it.
Hopefully next week I can come back and say, you know what? Last week I said it was semi trash. This week I feel it's going in a great direction.
I hope Miz just kills, because Miz on the mic has been gold, bro. Like for real. And Joe, the interesting part was when Miz was doing Daniel Bryan's moves, the crowd was yesing.
Yeah.
That was interesting to me.
It's slowly starting to grow
It's
into
interesting.
something of its own.
So we're not even gonna get into that one too much. Maybe it was just a different kind of crowd, but
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 yeah, let's break down the end of this. Break
yeah.
it down for
So
me.
Harper Styles are left, which is what I assumed it would come down to, and it was interesting because they were around the turnbuckle in the corner, and it looked like Harper was gonna try to suplex Styles over and out of the ring, and then Harper like falls back into the ring, and I didn't know if it was like that if that was meant to happen or what. But then they kind of end up redoing the whole setup into the turnbuckle, so it was like maybe they did botch and they had to do it over. But then it was almost like,
Didn't Ambrose get a part of that apron part too?
oh, that was no, that was when Ambrose. See, that was you're talking about the apron part. I'm talking about the turnbuckle at the very end.
Oh, the
The apron
turnbuckle
part
part.
was when Ambrose was standing on the apron with Harper and
In the
Styles.
middle, right? Yeah.
Yeah, and he was between them.
Okay.
So that's how Ambrose gets eliminated. And
But
go ahead.
what you were talking about.
Was they're in the turnbuckle. They're by the turnbuckle in the corner, the top right corner from like the TV viewers, and like the back right corner.
Yeah.
And so Harper kind of falls into the ring, loses his footing. It seems like, and then like they have to redo that whole thing. So it made it seem like it was a botch, and they had to redo it. But then
Yeah.
but then at the same time, maybe it was like storytelling where they're like building towards that finish. But I don't know. It happened too soon after each other to make me think it was building and or storytelling. It made me just feel like they messed up and they had to do it over. But
And then they
so
just both fell to the ground.
and then they do the suplex and they both fall to the ground at around the same time, I guess. Which I like. Like a lot of people might
I
have
couldn't
not like
call it.
this. I like this because they didn't even show us replays, which
Yeah.
maybe it was obvious who fell first and they didn't want us to see replays of it. But I like this because I didn't like the idea of seeing if they're gonna have Harper win. I don't like the idea of Harper just eliminating Styles on his own. Like
Mm-hmm.
totally like I know Harper is bigger than him and stuff, but like you don't want it's almost kind of unbelievable or unrealistic if Harper just kind of gets rid of Styles on his own. You know?
Yeah.
So I didn't mind that it kind of was inconclusive and they're going to have to settle this next week because now some fishy shit could happen. You know what I mean? And now it'll give it a chance to really see Harper, competing with Styles in an actual match where like we could really feel like okay, Harper deserves this. Otherwise, if Harper just eliminated Styles, the way I felt anyway was they're just obviously going for this whole setup and but like for
Yeah.
Harper to get such a push like that, it was like it's kind of crazy. So like give it another week, let it be inconclusive. Let them show that oh maybe Harper can match up with Styles a little bit, hint at it, and then we see a match next week. I like that. I'm fine with that.
The crowd wasn't bad in this show.
They weren't.
And
They
like
didn't seem.
after
They
that
didn't seem to like
happened,
the ending, but
but after that, like I mean, for me, when AJ went in the ring and then Luke Harper went in the ring, I felt like they were both chanting like, oh, they were screaming OD for both of them.
yeah.
Like AJ was like, I'm the winner. They were like, ah, and Luke Harper was like, I'm the winner, and then they were like, ah. And I was like, okay. And then Daniel Bryan's music hit, and he came out and announced that next week there'll be
Daniel's Bryan music took a little while to hit. I felt like
yeah, it
they were
did.
just screaming at each other for a while
Yeah,
until he decided to
exactly.
come out.
I mean, they did that purposely, probably. But Daniel Bryan comes out and announces number one contender match for next week.
Yep.
And then Wyatt's the lights hit and Wyatt comes out. Wyatt and Randy appear on the Titantron. And like
And
you
they
said,
laugh. And they laugh till the ending. And it cut out mad quick because I guess they ran out of time.
Yeah, yeah. And one thing I forgot to mention also
and then
about
before
Bray
I knew
Wyatt's...
it, Chris Lee was talking to us.
Right?
But
But one thing I forgot to mention about the earlier promo for Bray Wyatt, when he was speaking, Randy was standing there, and Randy said run.
Yeah.
Randy said run. That was the first time he's done it.
No, it wasn't.
Yeah? No?
Nah, no way. Because I
I
expected it.
felt like it was. I felt like run
No,
was
he's
always
done it.
Harper's thing.
No, yeah, he's done it before. Back before they even broke up, Harper went to do it once, and Orton like cut in front of him, and that
Oh
kind of,
yeah.
you
And
know,
that was the only other time
that was
though.
adding the friction there. But yeah, that's Orton now. Orton's the brother now.
I just feel Orton got something up his sleeve.
Of course, he fucking does.
He better. This will fuck him up.
So,
But if Randy Orton, if you want to come on the No Politics podcast,
okay,
come through.
we'll fuck him up. But Randy Orton, if you want to,
Nah, I'm joking, man. I'm a big Randy Orton fan, man. For real.
yeah.
Like, since day one when he debuted, around the time Cena debuted.
Yeah, I remember. I remember going over to your house one time and we were talking.
I used to always play with him in the SmackDown Shut Your Mouth. In the SmackDown Shut Your Mouth when he originally was there and he had the blue trunks and he used to do ended up breaking his arm and he used to do the Randy News Network and pop up and be like, it's like 3 weeks since I got injured and I'm ready to come back soon, guys, and this is just a report. And he would kept doing the RNN, the Randy News Network, and just popping up randomly every other week. See, dudes don't know about that. Like, you gotta be a real true fan and a heavy wrestle head. You know what I'm saying? To remember that.
You just disrespected me because I don't remember it.
When he was doing
that
the
was
RNN?
that was when I had just like started to get back into it because I had stopped for a while, and then that was when I first started to get back into it. So I didn't even see the Randy News Network shit. So I guess I ain't a legit wrestlehead.
You gotta YouTube it.
I got you.
But yeah, other than that, man, I feel like it was a pretty good week for wrestling. Not too much to digest this week. We got Fastlane coming up next week, so we don't got another pod. We got one more, and we're gonna give our predictions for Fastlane, and then we'll probably do a Fastlane recap. But man, all in all, I'll say I look forward to seeing what's happening next week. Hopefully, Raw could pick up, and it'll be a pretty good episode. Goldberg's gonna be on it, so let's see. I'm not gonna lie, Goldberg hasn't been weak at all every time he's showed on.
Yeah, not at
Raw,
all.
so we'll see.
Who you got, Harper or Styles next week? Or how? How do you think this is playing out?
I have no clue. And that's what I love about it so much. Like I was saying on our post on Instagram, I said I love the fact that we still don't know what's gonna happen for WrestleMania, and we spoke about this early, after Elimination Chamber. Like, there's 7 weeks to build to this. Is Randy and Randy and Y gonna be the main event? Bray Wyatt? We don't know, and we still don't. Yeah. SmackDown still keeps finding a way to make us second guess whether the main event's gonna be Wyatt and fucking Orton.
Yeah, they're just prolonging this shit.
So I really don't know who's gonna win, but I want AJ Styles to win, but I know somehow Luke Harper is gonna be part of this match, and it'll probably be a triple threat match at Mania.
Exactly, and I love that they're prolonging it because Raw's card isn't settled yet because they haven't had Fastlane. So how do you combat that? By keeping it unsettled for SmackDown as well. You know what I mean? Now, after Fastlane, that's when shit is going to become clear for us, too, for the SmackDown side. Because they're probably just waiting for Fastlane, so Raw can settle their card. And then they'll, kind of reveal what their plans are going forward. So that's why they prolonging it and shit. Kind of a way to combat Raw.
I will say this, though. I'm looking more forward to SmackDown than I am Raw. This is slowly becoming a SmackDown favorite podcast, but I can't not just pay attention to Raw. I watch.
I mean, we can't. It wouldn't even be right to not watch it, but talk shit about it. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Yeah.
But as far as my shit for my predictions for Styles Harper, it's interesting because like you're not gonna have Harper go over Styles clean.
Yeah.
And then at the same time, it's like. So what? Does Bray get involved? Does Orton get involved? Why would they get involved and help Harper?
Maybe does
Orton?
Eric
Oh,
Rowan
Rowan.
return
Oh, that's
and help
dope.
Harper?
Oh, I would like that. I would fuck with
Plotting the
that.
thicken the plot for the Wyatt
I
families, the
would fuck with
brothers.
that because it's interesting. Like, what does Orton help Harper out? Like, why would that happen? You know what I mean? Like, why would he help
Yeah.
him out? Like, or does he do it? Does he do it because he's like, oh, I'm gonna put Harper in a match versus Bray at Mania because this is the last thing I need to do to really break up the Wyatts, for good, to have them in a match. Because although Harper and Bray don't fuck with each other anymore, maybe he's like, oh, I need to put them in a match to really get Harper out of the way for good. Or something, like, who knows? Like, anything could fucking happen, I feel like, at this point. So I
Or
like how open ended it is.
before we wrap this up, because we're gonna wrap up very, very soon. This idea just came to my mind. What if AJ Styles just backs out of the number one contenders match all in all, giving Luke Harper technically the shot? But he says his whole claim is that I shouldn't even be in a number one contenders match because I still have a rematch clause as a single one-on-one fucking championship rematch.
I like that. That's actually interesting too. I can't see him backing
And
down,
then
but I could see
because
him saying that and having that issue and that bringing Shane McMahon into it is what you're probably going to say.
exactly, because then
Exactly.
Shane would be like, well, I can't grant you that. This is your one opportunity, and basically causing friction to lead up to the rumors of Shane McMahon versus AJ Styles for WrestleMania.
Okay. I could see it. I could definitely see that.
Who
Yeah.
knows?
I mean, Styles still does. You're absolutely right. Styles still has that fucking one-on-one rematch clause. So,
Yeah.
he doesn't even have to fight Harper. He shouldn't even have to
He
have
should
been
have
in this
not even
match.
been in the damn
Exactly.
number one contender shit. Like, okay, Randy don't want to fight him. Okay, so I'll take my rematch at Mania.
Yeah.
Simple as that. Like, there should have never even been a battle royal.
Exactly.
Your number one contender's right here. Like, what the fuck?
It's clearly me, you idiot. Yeah. No.
Yeah, so I mean, I love it. I love it. But on that note, we're gonna end right there. I want to thank everybody out there listening. We continue to see your support. We love you guys being interactive with us on our Instagram. We stay thinking of ideas to be fresh, be new, and get you guys involved with the conversation. And yeah, we just thank you guys for listening. So to everyone out there, follow us on Instagram, No Politics Podcast. Follow us on YouTube. Follow us on SoundCloud, No Politics Podcast. It's your boy Faking No Moves at FAKINNOMOVES. All the wrestlers out there, if I offended you, I did not mean anything by it. We love you. We're big fans. We just joking.
Except Lesnar. I feel like he low-key really got a problem with you, Brock Lesnar.
No.
So
Lesnar, you need to change your shirt. Suplex City.
You see what I'm saying?
Done.
You just
and
fucking
your
it
mean
up for
face
yourself.
sucks. Nah.
Fucking it up. I'm gonna just cut you off.
Follow your boy. Follow No Politics Podcast.
Follow me at Working Genius, WORKINGENIUS, on Instagram, on Snapchat. Follow at No Politics Podcast everywhere. You can catch us everywhere.
Yep.
We'll be back next week with another episode. We thank you once again for listening. And with that, have a good one. Peace.
Peace.